Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into
Every year,
it.
the amount of electrical equipment on the car increases. And although thanks to the miniaturization of electronic components still manages to keep all this hulk on the 12-volt onboard network. But the situation in the medium term may become critical. But even today, a lot depends on the wiring and, of course, on the quality of the mass, which has a very direct impact on the accuracy of the functioning of sensors, controllers, and other components of electrical equipment. The electrical mass is known to be a part of the onboard electrical network, connecting the battery and the vehicle body, with the latter being a conditional return segment forming a closed autonomous system. This means that the vehicle body acts as a conductor of negatively charged electrons. But it is not always possible to satisfy the increased loads on the network. That is why the engine is de-energized by connecting the most powerful consumers to the additional mass. The main purposes of demonizovka. Many car owners have probably repeatedly observed such a phenomenon as sagging onboard power supply at the time of its highest load, with the simultaneous connection of several devices that are demanding to the current consumption, for example, climate control system, multimedia center, electric seat heating. Such short-term failures can cause many unpleasant surprises, up to the failure of the onboard computer. But they can be observed without visible and obvious reasons, worsening the work of the power unit, sensors, ignition system, servo, drives, and the same electronic control side. Such failures usually occur due to the weakening of the fastening of the standard mass, in the case of oxidation or destruction of contacts. In this case, the stability of the onboard electrical system will be impaired. To remedy the situation will help to demonizovka engine, which in this case will be that additional device, which in the case of problems with the main will take on the role of the standard minus. As a rule, the owners of frankly old cars, the body of which is in far from ideal condition, are forced to take such a step. The second reason why you need to demonizovka engine, although it sounds more exotic, in fact, also quite rational, it is performed by apologists for tuning the power unit. In their opinion, the presence of additional mass allows you to reduce the load from the onboard electrical system, distributing it more evenly compared to the use of a single standard mass. Benefits of motor derating. How significant is the improvement in the performance of the electrical system with an additional mass? Opinions on this matter are divided. Skeptics are convinced that this operation, completely useless, because the standard mass is quite enough for the network with maximum load, which contributes to the increase in the cross-section of wires, as well as the presence of many sensors their own ground, the so-called sensor ground. Read also, features of adjustment of the carburetor Solex 21073. Apologists of unmuting argue their positions by the fact that, having a more stable and reliable mass, it is possible to achieve better spark formation in particular and the work of the ignition system as a whole. Moreover, for all consumers of electric power, its distribution becomes more uniform, which cannot be achieved using only native mass. But, according to them, there are also other advantages of such improvement of the electric circuit of the car. It saves up to 5% of fuel by reducing the load on the generator. Additional mass has a positive effect on the starter at sub-zero temperatures, when it has to rotate the crankshaft really hard. Unmixing allows for more even engine operation. The dynamics of engine response to the accelerator pedal is significantly improved. The efficiency of the power unit increases, making it more responsive and powerful. The presence of additional mass extends the life of the battery, as it is recharged from the generator more efficiently. The engine, in the idling mode, works more stable, stops floating. The power of the headlamp luminous flux increases, which affects the safety of driving in the dark. After unleveling, as a rule, vibrations in the passenger compartment, transmitted from the engine, after switching on the most powerful consumers of electric power, disappear. As you can see, the list of advantages is quite impressive. In addition, it can be noted that improved and more reliable mass an excellent means of combating interference and distortion manifested. In the acoustic system of the car, especially budget, having a very weak protection against interference. Finally, it should be noted that only the presence of additional mass will save the car from de-energizing in case of breakage or destruction of the contact group of the standard mass. How to perform de-energizing on your own. From the point of view of the law, installation of additional mass is quite a legal procedure, as there is no change in the car's design. Physically, unmasking means connecting the main electrical consumers to the mass using additional wires. As a rule, the scheme of engine demonosovka assumes powering to the ground 5 to 6 sources, starter, generator, automatic transmission. The power unit itself, 2 or more points are recommended, remote from the battery part of the body. Read also, why cars have a drive shaft and what functions it performs in order to achieve maximum effect. Unmuting requires consideration of the following wiring requirements: wire manufacturing material, high-quality copper, content of impurities, minimal, flexibility of wires, high. The use of wires made of copper alloys or their base is not recommended. The cross-section of wires should be large. This will increase their conductivity, reducing heating and tendency to leakage as a result of interference. Wire insulation should correspond to the quality of the material, be strong and at the same time flexible, able to withstand mechanical influences and temperature fluctuations. This mode is characteristic of the engine compartment, especially at sub-zero temperatures. Razmanasovka with your own hands. The procedure is not difficult. You will need to purchase the cable itself, having previously calculated the required length, summarizing the segments for each of the consumers, terminals, as well as heat shrink tubing. We cut the wires, crimp the terminals, and put them on in the places of attachment of the minus wire of each of the consumers, having previously used heat shrink tubing. We are looking for routes for routing wires to the minus terminal of the battery, preferably in such a way that they do not get warm and do not rub. It remains to connect everything to the battery. For this you can use a bar, preferably also copper, drill holes for the wires in it, and clamp them with bolts. The bar is also connected to the minus terminal of the battery with a bolt connection. In conclusion, engine detuning presents a complex debate with valid arguments on both sides. Proponents highlight benefits such as improved fuel efficiency, reduced emissions, and enhanced engine longevity, making it an appealing choice for environmentally conscious drivers and those seeking lower maintenance costs. On the other hand, critics argue that detuning can compromise performance, diminish driving enjoyment, and potentially affect resale value. Ultimately, the decision to detune an engine should be based on individual priorities, whether they lean towards sustainability and cost-effectiveness or performance and thrill. Thank you for watching, and we hope this discussion has provided valuable insights into the pros and cons of engine detuning.